All right, guys, I'm here with a special guest. He's part of our Rainmaker system. This is Chait of Equity Arizona Real Estate. He has 30 years experience and he's a nationally renowned coach. And today we're going to be talking about foreclosures and how to find them, why they're so difficult to find, and go a little bit through the process. So, Ian, thank you for taking some time here on a Sunday.
No problem. Sundays are good. I'm going to go out showing here probably in about an hour.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So let's dive into it. How come foreclosures are so hard to find, not just in the Phoenix area where you are, but everywhere across the United States?
Well, in 99% of the markets, they're going up in value. And what I've seen in Arizona specifically, also in Nevada and in California, is that loan mods are making a comeback. Because the market's going up, the banks are actually holding off on taking the houses, holding off on doing short sales, holding off on doing deed in lieu of foreclosure. So, and they're definitely holding off on the judicial process of foreclosure, which means there's going to be less real estate owned inventory out there on the market.
Got it. Now, what's the process? Let's say, because like you're getting a lot of leads from foreclosure buyers. Like, what does a buyer need to be prepared for so they can be Johnny on the spot to jump on it and get that property at where they're buying basically equity in the property before they have to wait for it to go up?
Right. There's still value added properties on the market, which value added means the house needs some work. So if it needed $35,000 worth of work, you might be getting it at a $50,000 to $70,000 discount. So you got to have your money ready. You got to act fast. And, if you have the cash in the bank, that's great. If you need to borrow it, that's great. Just have that lender ready, whether it's a hard money lender. You're not going to get the traditional FHA loans on properties that need work. So you might need to do some hard money finagling, which is easy secondary, high interest, low term financing. And for that, you need a down payment. You need rehab money, and then you refinance if you're not going to flip. There's still a great hold market in a lot of areas where you buy the house and you don't flip it, you hold it, you rent it out, and you make a great return on your investment. And next thing you know, you have 15, 20,000 invested, and you're making $500-600 a month on that, which is a great return.
Right. Now, should people start building relationships with lenders so when they are ready to find that property, they have a variety of lenders that can kind of jump at them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the golden rule, he with the gold makes the rules. Get yourself some gold.
Yeah. Now, so for instance, let's go through like an example. Like, let's say there's a property right now in Phoenix. It's $200,000. It's a foreclosure, needs about 50 grand of work. Now, how would you negotiate the price? Or let's say it's 30 grand of work. How would you negotiate the price if it's worth 200, it needs 30? What would you go to negotiate with that buyer, or I'm sorry, with that seller?
Well, we try and get it, definitely south of 150, leave some meat on the bone for closing costs and profits. So at 130,000, let's say, is the agreed upon price. There's plenty of hard money lenders out there that'll do it for 10% down, which would be 13,000 down. And if you need $25,000 worth of work, there's some hard money lenders that do an 80-20 program where they want a little bit more of a down payment, but they'll lend you the rehab money as well. So at that point you need 26,000 down plus another 32. You borrow the rest at hard money, fix the house, and you refinance it, or you flip it right away.
Right. So in that example, so with a foreclosure, you have to come in with all of the cash up front. So the seller is off the table. Is that right?
Correct. And like I say, if it needs work, an FHA lender, traditional financing isn't going to work. You're going to have to take the step of obtaining an investor loan or a hard money loan and go that route and then refinance out of it. Once the house has been repaired and updated and can appraise for retail value.
Right. Okay. So now let's say it's just a casual investor. They've never done a flip before. They're interested in a foreclosure, get a deal. Would you recommend they try to go for a flip, or how do you determine in somebody in that scenario where they have cash, they can be a good client. They just don't know if they want to flip or hold.
Well, it all depends on the return. I mean, the return is going to be greater because interest rates have dropped again. Interest rates are lower than rental rates, so there's going to be positive cash flow, and there's going to be appreciation. So I would suggest somebody that had a couple of $100,000 with cash, if they wanted a long-term investment, spread it out. Buy three or four, and that way you get triple or quadruple the appreciation as you normally would by using smart leverage to obtain these properties.
Right. Okay. So then in preparation, if like when you're taking someone through the foreclosure process, like let's just say it's me, I don't know anything. Like, can we get a summary of like what things I should be prepared for? Like what kind of timing it takes potentially to find the property, to being prepared for finance, to through the closing process?
Well, the process in Arizona, it takes about 90 days just to default on the loan. And, somewhere in between 90 and 120 days, they do what's called a notice of trustee sale, which is 90 days out. Now, that notice of trustee sale is the actual courthouse steps selling of the property. If that occurs and nobody bids on it to the bank's liking, the bank takes it back. So you have a few months of beating the bank to the house as well, if there's equity in the property. Now, if you buy it on the courthouse steps, you have to, just to get a bidder's pass, you have to come up with $10,000 here in Maricopa County, and you have to come up with the rest of the money the next day. Plenty of hard money lenders will do that. It's business as usual to them. But if you have the cash, that's even better. You don't need hard money lenders. You definitely want to inspect the house before you bid on it, unless you're buying it for less than land value, of course. We had one just recently that we were trying to buy, and they said, well, yeah, you're right, land value on this, the house is a tear down, land values $110,000. And it's like, well, it's going to cost $20,000 to demolish it. So yeah, they wound up taking $90,000 for it. And we sold a lot for $130,000. So it worked out well for the investor. And that was no house, nothing. We just demoed the place and hauled it away in dumpsters. But so you want to get a good product. You want to get a house with good bones. If you're new, you definitely want to stick to the cosmetic stuff, the flooring, the kitchen. You don't want to be rewiring 1950s cloth wire and things like that your first time out, because it's a blind item unless there's enough meat on the bone. Some of these houses are already torn down to the studs because they've been stripped by the owners that have lost them. And you have to check, yes, everyone's heard the nightmares, they pour cement down the toilets so the plumbing clogs up. And yeah, that happens all the time. And that's a 15 grand fix. So you got to be careful of all that. And you get on the roof, work the AC. A lot of these don't have utilities on, so the buyer actually has to turn the utilities on and do an inspection. And if you don't know what you're looking at, have a licensed guy come out for $400 or $500 and have your contractor, even better yet, the guy that's going to fix the house, let them come with you, and that way they can give you a price, and you're not going in blind, because blind can be a pretty scary scenario.
Yeah. No, you mentioned inspecting the house. So the steps would be when the court. How do you get the list from the courthouse? Does the general public get a list, or is it through a real estate agent? What's the best way?
Real estate agent is the best way, because they're updated. You could get a list. It's out there public. There'll be 600 houses on that list, and only 20 of them are going to sell that day. A lot of these get prolonged and extended, and you don't want to waste your time looking at something that is going to be extended 4, 5, 6 months out in the future. You could probably do 2 deals in 6 months. So, right. You want to get an up-to-date sheet of what's current. And, for me, the experienced guys do well buying on the courthouse steps. They know what they're doing. They have an advantage over the public. And, I would suggest for the first time guy to get something that's already been taken by the bank. You can do a lot more thorough inspection. The bank's still eager to get that bad liability off their books.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to give you a good deal. And there's just a lot more due diligence you can do than if you were on the courthouse steps.
So how would somebody inspect the property? So if you find the address, is there a homeowner inside, or is there how would you get in the property? Would you go with the realtor?
And that's another thing. They might not want you looking at their house. I have a way of approaching people that are in trouble. I try and get them out of trouble. I'm definitely a homeowner advocate where if I see somebody that's on the list, I try and get in there. I try and do it to get a short sale listing or get them a loan mod. But I work a relationship with them instead of just saying, hey, I know you're losing your house. Here's some money. Get out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
These are people they're stricken in fear. They're depressed. They're finding out who their real friends are because no one's coming to help them. No one's coming to give them that money. And, we had an instance, a guy was injured on the job. He was settling a workman's comp case and he was losing his house. Now he had become healthy. He had gotten another job and they didn't care. They wanted their 5 payments. Otherwise they were taking the house, and he had the means to catch up over time. Within a year he would have been caught up. And luckily, he had a sugar mama, for lack of a better word, that had great credit. We got her a short-term $18,000 loan to help him get the house current, and he'll pay that back for her. But a lot of these people, they don't want to talk to you. The bank is not the only one hounding them for money. They probably have tax problems, which you've got to be really aware of tax problems, because tax problems stay with the property. So, again, when you're buying on the courthouse steps, if they have some kind of IRS lien, that might cloud the title of the property. So you want to steer clear of it or figure it in your offer. But once the bank takes that back, that tax liability is gone.
Got it. Okay, so if you didn't know about the tax liability and you made a bid on the property and you got it, that tax liability is now yours.
It happens all the time, yeah. Or city lien. Sometimes these places are abandoned and they get boarded up by the city, and the city wants $2,500 for boarding it up. I mean, $2,500 is not a lot on the scheme of things, but I don't know, pays my mortgage for a couple months.
Yeah, no, definitely. Money's money, especially when you can go to repairs, rehab somewhere else, or keeping it or into another property.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask a silly question, or it may be silly, it might be good, I don't know. But you see shows like Flip or Flop, and you get all these seminars with Than Merrill and all those guys,
Mm-hmm.
like saying how easy this is if you have zero experience. Like, how realistic is that?
Well, I have a lot of friends that are with that company, and it's not that easy.
Nothing that can make you
People are spending $50,000-$60,000 on courses to find out that it's not like it is.
Yeah. I'm sure that there's probably going to be, out of every 100, maybe one person that actually sees the success.
Well, they have to do it a lot of times, because they say, hey, you're gonna make 15 to 20% a deal, and in some markets that's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, you could do 6 or 7 deals and make your course money back and make a good living, but you're out there hustling properties full time.
Right. So from people who are going to watch this that are from other states or other parts of the world, what is it in Arizona? Is it a hot market? Is it a good market?
It's a steaming market. We have thousands of people moving here a month from places with higher property values. Arizona has very low property tax, and they're priced to build out here because we don't have to deal with 30 below winters or a foot of snow on our roofs. Our building codes are a lot different. So you could find things for less than $100 a square foot here. And, the last series of fires in California, people were taking their insurance checks. They were banking $500,000 and still buying 4 times the house that they had in California. And they're coming out to retire. So in Arizona, it's a hot market because, and it's different than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you had local people buying 7 or 8 houses. They couldn't rent them. And Airbnb hadn't really been invented yet. And we had this huge crash because of all the empty properties. Now it's a little different. Families are moving here. People are working. They're making their living. They're raising their kids. They're going to school. So it's a little bit different boom than there was here before the bubble burst.
Yeah, I mean, and plus there's a lot of like businesses that are moving there as well.
Well, it's very tax friendly to businesses. Our governor is doing a good job by bringing some outside companies out of California, out of Utah, and Utah's pretty tax friendly too. Yeah, for some reason, Nevada's not that leader in corporate welfare anymore.
Well, once I decide to make that leap of faith out of California, I'll be calling you up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you deal with the traffic.
I don't. I live outside of Los Angeles, so I'm okay on the traffic front. But I have actually Cody. He's going to be coming down from Canada on a Friday, so that's going to be he'll see what the traffic looks like out here.
No, man. Yeah.
Well, so how has like we're working together right now, helping generate leads. We've got the Facebook ads running, the whole funnel, landing pages, ad copy, everything we do in our webinar that we show and teach people. Then we integrated that follow-up system. Like, what's your opinion of it so far?
I like it. I'd like to. It's my own fault. I haven't had time to really learn the follow-up system, and my brokerage has 30, 40 agents that work for me. There's 5 or 6 that are doing the marketing with me, and I would, I'd love to be able to kind of let them control it more than me, but and I'm sure you'll show me how to do that next week. But I am very impressed with the names. I mean, we have an affiliation with a credit repair business, and a couple of the people have had some credit issues, and we've got them in that system, so they'll be buying shortly, and everybody's interested.
That's good. I mean, because like last I checked was like Tuesday or Wednesday last week, and we'd in about like under 2 months, we had about 354 some odd people come through our funnel with some sort of contact information like name, email, and phone number. Are there any good ones that are going to be closing or you're going to be nurturing or working with soon?
Yes, absolutely. We have 3 that are probably ready to go. We've got a few in the credit repair deal, which they're probably 6 to 8 weeks out still. And then I haven't been able to keep up with the flow, so part of that was me. I was out sick last week, and I'll hop on those Monday, and I'm sure there's another half a dozen in there.
Yeah, they're going to be coming in fast, like a fire hose.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, the good part is like, what's that?
It's amazing the work you do. I mean, it's phenomenal how you get these names.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically it's the whole entire funnel. It's not like one particular step. It's literally writing ad copy, getting them to a specific way to ask for their contact information. So there's definitely a lot of behind the scenes exercises and work we do that we don't really publicize too much. But yeah, it's definitely hard work. But I'm glad it's working so well with you guys. Because the good part is that even though might be a backlog of leads, there's always going to be more coming in. But that's what we call a pipeline. A full pipeline, a happy, healthy pipeline. Because a lot of people, when we get them leads, they get scared. They're like, holy cow, like I was not expecting this at all. Let's stop. And our whole scenario is no. Adapt. Yeah, let's adapt. Let's not stop, because once it stops, you trip the whole system up, and we're starting from zero.
Yep. Yeah. No. I step on the gas. Keep them coming.
Okay. Good.
I'll get more agents.
Beautiful. All right. Well, yeah, let's get together this week. Let's get a solution in, bring those 5 people on. We'll do a webinar together for your company and then get them on the follow-up monster, get username and passwords, and teach them how to use this thing and log some notes and close
Sounds
some
good.
deals. All right. Well, thanks for your time today.
Thank you. Have a good
All right.
Sunday.
All right. Bye, Ian.